boys and girls? Today we are going to have our second lesson on making inferences. As a quick reminder, when we infer, remember that we are using evidence from the text and what we already know in our heads in order to make guesses about our story and to understand something important about our character. So we're going to read this story together and we're going to make some inferences. So as we're reading, you may get these ideas that pop in your head that maybe the author didn't directly say, but you know them to be true based off of details in the text. Keep those in your mind and think as we're going along what evidence you can come up with to prove them. After we read through it, we're going to look through some questions that help us to point out what inferences we can make and what evidence we can find in order to prove an inference that we're given. Here we go. It says, my name is Amy. My real name is Amy, but I prefer Amy since it's more original and seems kind of French. Sometimes when I write Amy, I use a little heart to dot the I, but I think I might be growing out of that. I am, after all, almost 10. You would think an almost 10-year-old wouldn't need a babysitter, but then again, you're not my parents. They are convinced I still need a sitter. It's your money, I keep pointing out to them. If you want to throw it away on a babysitter, that's up to you. Anyway, Emily's not so bad. Sometimes we actually have fun, since she always brings a supply of the newest shades of nail polish for me to try. But on this particular night, I was having a hard time concentrating on the glowing green goddess Emily was applying to our fingers and toes. Outside, it poured rain. Lightning flashed across the sky and thunder cracked so loudly it seemed to be exploding right in the living room. I could feel myself getting more and more nervous. Not for myself, of course. I was worried about my parents being out in the storm, however. Just as Emily was putting the finishing touches on my right pinky toe, there was a flash of lightning, followed immediately by the loudest crack of thunder I'd ever heard. The television went blank and silent, and the hallway light went out too. I noticed the familiar hum of the refrigerator was missing. The house was completely dark and silent. Emily stumbled to the window and peered outside. All the street lights are out. None of the other houses have lights either, so the power must be out in the whole neighborhood. She slowly bumped her way over to the phone and picked up the receiver. No dial tone, she said glumly. The telephone lines must be down too. She stopped and thought for a moment. Your parents must have a flashlight around here somewhere. Do you know where they keep it? Before I could tell her I had no idea where the flashlight was, I started to cry. Yes, it's true. I cried. I wailed. I boo-hooed like a baby. I pressed my hands over my eyes to stop the flow, and still the tears kept coming. We were stuck here in the dark and quiet forever. And to top off my fear and misery, what did I hear? Emily, laughing. That was the last straw. Here we are, I sobbed, stranded in the dark with my parents lost, no doubt, in the storm, and you're laughing. Look, Amy, she said. She reached out for my hand, and there, glowing in the dark, were my 10 fingernails, and down at my feet were my 10 glowing toenails. I looked over at Emily, whose toes and fingers were all aglow too. Glowing green goddess was fluorescent. See, we're not completely in the dark, she said. We can use our toes and our fingers to guide us. At least we won't bump into each other. Here, grab that bottle of nail polish. We'll search for the flashlight by the light of the glowing green goddess. And we did. We found the flashlight, but we didn't even use it because we preferred getting around the house by toe light. My parents eventually got home, and the telephone and electrical service were restored. But ever since that night, I have kept an extra bottle of glowing green goddess around because you never know when you might need some polish power. All right. So hopefully through reading that, there were maybe some things that you were able to infer throughout the way, and maybe you even saw evidence that kind of helped you point out and prove your point. So let's think about this first question. So we're thinking about what we learned from the story, and the question says, which sentence best supports the inference that Amy isn't having fun with Emily that night? So basically the question is saying that there's an inference that Amy isn't having fun with Emily. It's asking us which of these answer choices is the best evidence to prove that. So we need to read through them and decide which of these proves that Amy isn't having fun. So let's look at A. It says they are convinced that I still need a sitter. Well, that is how Amy feels about her parents and needing a babysitter, but that doesn't tell us if she enjoyed her being there, so I don't think that one's it. Let's look at B. Sometimes we actually have fun, since she always brings a supply of the newest shades of nail polish for me to try. Well, in that sentence, it says she's having fun, so it wouldn't make sense that that proves that she's not having fun. So I definitely think that one's not it. Let's look at C. But on this particular night, I was having a hard time concentrating on the glowing green goddess. Well, in my head, I know that if I'm having a hard time concentrating on something, it usually means that I'm not very interested in it or not having fun. So maybe that is what proves that she wasn't having fun. But I want to check D just to be sure. It says, I noticed that the familiar hum of the refrigerator was missing. That's just something that happened after the power went out. It doesn't really have anything to do with how Amy felt. So that one doesn't really make sense as an answer. So I'm going to say that C makes the most sense. On this particular night, I was having a hard time concentrating on the glowing green goddess. That tells me she wasn't really having that much fun because she couldn't concentrate. If she was having fun, she'd be able to concentrate on it. So that piece of evidence helps us prove that Amy isn't having that much fun with Emily. This next one is two parts. We're going to look at part A first. It says, which of these inferences about Emily is supported by paragraph 9? In other words, one of these answer choices is an inference, and in paragraph 9, there's a sentence that is our evidence for it. It helps us prove one of these inferences. Let's actually read this paragraph 9 and see what makes sense for us to use to describe Emily. It says, see, we're not completely in the dark, she said. We can use our toes and fingers to guide us. At least we won't bump into each other. Here, grab that bottle of nail polish. We'll search for the flashlight by the light of glowing green goddess. Okay, so I'm looking at my answer choices and I want to think which of those really kind of describes Emily based on this paragraph that we just read. A says she is bossy and loud. She is giving like instructions here, but she doesn't really seem bossy. So I'm going to say that one's probably not the answer, but let's check the rest. B. Emily is clumsy and stubborn. Well, if I look at one of the sentences in the middle, it says at least we won't bump into each other. To me, that tells me that she's not clumsy because she's looking for ways to be careful. So it doesn't really make sense that she would be clumsy and stubborn in this sense. So I can go ahead and cross that one out. C says Emily is clever and creative. So I think, is there something in here that she did that was either clever or creative? Well, she came up with a way for them to look for the flashlights. It says, we'll search for the flashlight by the light of the glowing green goddess. That says a way that she's been clever and creative. She came up with a solution. So maybe that's the answer. It looks pretty good so far, but let's check D. Emily is kind and caring. Well, I know that usually babysitters are kind and caring. They care about the kids that they watch. So that's something that I know in my head. And I think that Emily is. She's taking care of Amy. But I don't know that this paragraph tells me anything about her being kind and caring. So I really think that it's C, Emily is clever and creative. And that helps me think about part B of this question, which says that we need to choose one sentence in this paragraph that best supports our answer. So in other words, which sentence tells us that she is clever and creative? Well, saying that they're not in the dark, that's just pointing out a fact, so that's not really a good sentence for it. We can use our fingers and toes to guide us. Okay, that one might be a little creative. That might be a good one to underline. At least we won't bump into each other. She's kind of just giving an idea. Grab that bottle of nail polish. We'll search for the flashlight by the light of the glowing green goddess. Well, in that one, she's actually telling us an idea. Like, a for sure idea exactly what to do. And that's something that isn't usually done. We usually do use a flashlight or something of that sort. So I feel like that sentence really shows us, yeah, she had a creative idea of how to solve a problem. So I'm going to say that that sentence, "We'll search for the flashlight by the light of glowing green goddess." I feel like that sentence really shows us that she is clever and creative. She's able to come up with ideas to solve problems. So you see, we took an inference and we found evidence for it in our text. I also in there used my own knowledge. My knowledge, like when I crossed out answer choice D, I used knowledge that I knew about babysitters for it. So I'm pulling information there again from the text and from what I know in my head. All right, let's look at this question. From which sentence can you infer that Emily isn't as grown up as she thinks she is? Okay, so basically this question is telling us that the inference is that Amy isn't as grown up as she thinks. And so I'm looking for my evidence. Which answer choice gives me that evidence that she isn't as grown up as she thinks? A says, sometimes when I write Amy, I use a little heart to dot the I, but I think I might be growing out of that. B, I could feel myself getting more and more nervous. Not for myself, of course. I was worried about my parents being out in the storm, however. C says, before I could tell her I had no idea where the flashlight was, I started to cry. D, but ever since that night, I have kept an extra bottle of glowing green goddess around. So take a moment to think, which one of those questions really shows us that she is not as grown up as she thinks, that she's actually still young and a child. So, in my thoughts, what I'm thinking is that C works the best, and here's my reasoning. This is why I think it works. So I know that she's crying because she had no idea where the flashlight was and she didn't know what to do. Well, typically, a grown-up would know what to do in this situation, but Amy's saying she doesn't know what to do. So to me, that kind of shows that she is still young and doesn't know what to do because a grown-up would have known what to do in this situation, right? If you look at some of the other answer choices, A, that shows that she thinks she is getting older because she thinks she might be growing out of it. So she thinks she's getting older. That kind of goes against what our inference is. B, in that answer choice, she's showing that she is mature in thinking that she's worried about her parents. So that also kind of says that she's a little bit older. So that doesn't really go with what we said either. And D, ever since that night, I've kept an extra bottle of glowing green goddess around. Well, that's just something she wants to do, and it just shows more information about her. But I don't really think that it says anything about how old she is or anything about her age. So I'm going to say that the correct answer choice is C. So in all of these inferences that we've made, we've been able to find evidence from our text to help prove it, and we've also been able to find and use information that we knew in our heads already to help us figure these inferences out. The only difference between what we've done here and what we did in our last lesson is that we were writing out the information and finding it in the first lesson. In this lesson, we're solving questions and answering questions and really figuring out the best answer choices, which is a good skill for us to practice as well. On Canvas today, what you're going to do is complete an assignment called Making Inferences Part 2. There's 2 parts to it, the same assignment. You're going to use this story, and there's a question for you to respond to. And then the second part, there's actually an activity, and you'll see it pictured on there. You'll read the description and infer or guess where the character is based on the description that they give you. Now, you're going to tell me where you think they're at, and tell me why. Just like we gave evidence in these passages, you're going to give evidence why. All right, guys, good luck.